Ayazda, Gagrov Vorku Masu Ajen, meaning hello and welcome back to this guide. Sorar, Raje Gacha Voka Aradirik. Today we'll be talking about the rules, more specifically the grammar. And the grammar in Old Jordrad is unlike any other language I've ever seen, or Conlang for that matter. Every word in the language can be any kind of word. What this means is that a base word, Iva, for example, that's always my go-to, but it can mean, it can be a verb, a noun, an adjective, an adverb, really anything you want it to be. It just depends on the words surrounding it, and here are those words now. Just for example, the verb words, gadamede, with meaning for an example, the verb words are gachor, ga, and gacha. Gachor being past tense, ga being present tense, and gacha being future tense. Gadamede, gakoga ajajin, meaning that would mean to I poisoned the criminal or the evildoer, while gachor koga ajajin would mean I poisoned the evildoer. Kind of the past, present, future tense. There's es, which is for adjectives primarily. So you could say escoga, which would mean I am poisonous, or you could say jen escoga, which would mean you are poisonous, which I can explain later in this video. Then there is un, which is kind of like the verbs, but it's more of a hypothetical. So to say un koga jajin, which would mean I could poison the evildoer, or I should. It can be used interchangeably for those concepts. Then there's soy, which is to literally be something. So soy koga would mean I am poison. You wouldn't really use that for the word poison, but it can also be used for metaphors. So you may be wondering, how do we handle complex ideas? It is kind of a weird system, and it's hard to explain. There's a very specific word order to make it happen. And here's an example sentence to help explain the word order and how the sentence functions. So, the big dog didn't bite me before lunch. First word ever that you can put in the beginning of a sentence. If you are talking about something that didn't happen or won't happen, or you're saying, I'm not this, you're going to want to begin the sentence with the word yon, which means no. So, you can say yon in the beginning of a sentence here to mean didn't. And then next up, we don't have a word for the or a in Jordrad. There's no articles, really. So you would just say yon arva, which would mean no dog. Doesn't really make sense in English, but so far the sentence is pretty much just the dog, no. To kind of specify what the dog is or how the dog appears, you use es, because that's for adjectives. And miare here, or miare, means big. So yon arva es miare. Miare means the big dog, so the big dog, no. And then I just went ahead and added everything here to make it more simple, less slides for me to edit. But bite is verb, so you would say gachor choma, which choma there is the base word meaning mouth, but since the gachor activates it as a verb, then it would mean to bite, if that makes sense. In Jordrad, we have kind of a word that's just a, and it's basically like at or to. So like, the dog bit at me or bit me. It kind of marks the, I don't know if it would be the subject or the object, but the one being affected by the verb. So, gachor koma age, the age there would mean at me, je being me. And yeah, so far we've got yon arva esmiare gachor koma age, which can be a sentence in and of itself, meaning the dog didn't bite me. But we wanted to add before lunch here to make it a really complex idea. There's not really a word for when. So we can't really talk about time in a very specific manner, but ade means in. So ade, subika meaning lunch, mieka meaning before. So subika mieka meaning before lunch, ade subika mieka meaning like in the time before lunch. It's very unspecific and vague, but that's kind of how it works. So the whole sentence is Yon arva esmiare gachor koma aje ade subika mieka, meaning the big dog didn't bite me before lunch, or for a more literal translation, in order, not dog is big bit at me in lunch before. See, that makes no sense in English, but in Jordrad, that is how you're supposed to specify things. In Jordrad, you don't have to, if you're talking about yourself, specify that you're talking about yourself. So if you're saying ga voka, which means voka means speak or word. So ga voka is to speak. So if you just say ga voka, people will assume you're talking about yourself. So you don't need to put je ga voka, je meaning I. You don't have to say I speak. You can just say speak, and it means I speak. Orai ga richi, on the other hand, jen ga sorar, meaning you arrive. You can specify who you're talking about doing the action or being the adjective. You can specify simply by adding any pronoun before ga or before es or before soy. That's how you specify if someone else is doing the action. But again, you don't have to specify if it's you doing the action. It's pretty much all I have for you today. Ka pravid vorku adekra a jen, meaning I hope this helped you understand. Let me know for future lesson ideas in the comments. I've pretty much run out of them, but I hope this was helpful and interesting enough. Thank you for watching. Have a great one.